disconnecting
It's
there.
okay. It's okay,
So
Prabhu. No worries.
last
Yeah.
night we did a 3 hour session. I have a feeling that in this electronic situation, rather than just hearing, that the batteries wear down faster. Anyhow, here we are. What was
Um, I don't know.
that? Okay, here we are.
Okay, so I want to share something with you. Today, someone just called me, and
Yeah,
he's been, I guess, he's been hearing our lectures and conversation, and he was saying that Ronald, a lot of people are saying in ISKCON the society is in trouble. You know, the society is in trouble, and he was saying, Ronald, what you are doing is actually harming the society. So I told him we're not so much concerned about anything what other people say. We are actually concerned about the Siddhanta or the conclusion of the Vedic scriptures. What do the scriptures say? What does Srila Prabhupada say about certain
yeah. The
things?
scriptures as presented by Prabhupada. Not more,
Yes,
not less.
not more, not less. So he was saying that a lot of Hindus, a lot of Indians who are following him, he's a local Karma Kanda Pandit in Sacramento. And we have good relations, but it's hard for them to, when they see a lot of negative things, they think, oh, Prabhupada is a bad guy. But I'm trying to explain to him that, hey, because you are not knowledgeable, because you do not know the history of what happened, you should come learn about it. Then you can inform people or you can tell people what actually happened,
Yes.
you know.
Well, if he wants to get on the Zoom call, then we could give him full access to ask questions, and you and I will answer them.
Yes,
That
so
would be best.
Well,
yeah,
needless
so I
to
That
told
would
say,
be
him,
best actually.
the
Yeah, that
fact
would
that
be best.
he's worried about a political outbreak is a proof that the spiritual aspect is missing. How can there be some sort of political downside if we're telling the truth?
yes, yeah. So I told him i was I was trying to tell him that if you want to know the history of the whole movement, we have people here that have been present since the start. Why not have a conversation with him and he'll explain to you what actually happened and what is happening. He told me that, oh, he's so busy that his sanstha, meaning his school or his club, is so busy, so many people that he doesn't have time. But he
Is
has
he from
time to
ISKCON?
call. No, he's not from ISKCON. He's one of the local pundits here in Sacramento. But
Or
he has
from
Or
time to.
how
Hmm?
then
so
how
what
does
is it?
he know things about ISKCON if he is not into ISKCON?
I don't know how he knows, but people are talking to him because he's the get-go guy. He's from somewhat of a Brahminical family. From he studied Sanskrit, and
You should have told him. Even people in ISKCON don't know the entire thing about ISKCON. So
yeah, that's what I told him. But he was not willing to listen, nor was he willing to take association of people who are there. So I discredit these people, like the disciples of the ISKCON gurus, because they're not really interested in learning the truth, nor do they want
Well,
to hear anything.
so now there's some confusion. He's a local pundit with roots in India, but he's worried about ISKCON devotees being misled or something by us. So why is he
No,
concerned?
no, he's saying that the public opinion of ISKCON is very bad, and what you are doing, Ronald Singh, is actually harming the society or the name of Srila Prabhupada. He was complaining that to me.
Why does he care?
Yes, that's my next question. Why does he care?
some random thought he came across
Yeah,
me.
yeah, and he called me today and said, Ronald, what you're doing, you know what happened internally? I'm like, of course I know, because I want to know and I want to know the truth. But he was not willing to listen. He was just saying, what you're doing is not proper and is actually hurting the movement. I was
Well,
like, come on,
that's an
go ahead, Prabhu.
interesting thing for him to say, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, I mean, how is this sort of istagosti or satsanga, how is it harming anybody?
Right, right.
Are we not subject? And he's saying that ISKCON is in a jeopardized condition?
I don't know what he's thinking, but he called to complain to me. So I tried to explain to him the whole history of how things happen, but he's not willing to listen nor learn. So,
If he's
Okay,
not
So we
willing
have-
to listen, then
he is saying that somebody is talking to him, right? And complaining what we're doing.
yes, yes.
Must be, right? Now, if
Yeah,
that's the case, and they're saying, why does he care what happens to ISKCON? These must be ISKCON people that are complaining to him.
ISKCON people or the local Hindus, they're, we don't really. Our philosophy is we're not this body, we're spirit souls, but the Hindus have a hard time understanding this. They're more attached to asat things, temporary things. And,
Yes.
they're mostly on that level. All, 99.999% they're on the
Well, that's fine
bodily
for them. If
conception of
that's
life.
what they want, they can have it. It turns them into Christians or Jews or Muslims or something like that. Because the people who believe that they have a soul then think that they are the body. When they're under the illusion that they are the body, or under the impression that they are the body, then they want to do everything to improve the condition of the body.
Yeah.
Does it make
So-
sense?
Yes, it does. So that's why, what we're doing is clearly having some impact on the community on the worldwide scale. So we should continue this, speaking the truth and making a distinction between Sat and Asat and telling them,
Well,
yes,
Then
this is
what we need to do, obviously, at this point, not at this point, but we're approaching the point where we're going to need to create like one-page literatures explaining what we're doing, so that when
Yes.
so then you can give them to this guy, this is what we're doing. If they think we're going against this con, that's their impression, but that's not what we're doing.
Of course, yeah. ISKCON, who is ISKCON? Prabhupada is ISKCON. That's it. No one else is ISKCON. If
Well, yeah.
we are ISKCON as long as we are following Srila Prabhupada. That is real ISKCON. That is my understanding.
Absolutely. And that if you take it as a mathematical principle, without Prabhupada, is there any ISKCON? If you eliminate Prabhupada, where's ISKCON?
There's no
no,
ISKCON.
ISKCON.
So what they do is now they have ISKCON, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, to keep Prabhupada's sound vibration, blessing them for their ridiculousness actions. No, that's
Right.
really insufficient or inappropriate behaviors in kirtan, etc., classes, whatever. They're just trying to use Prabhupada, but you can't take Prabhupada out of the picture. They can't, we can't. Right? I mean, we can't we don't want to take Prabhupada out of the picture. We want Prabhupada to be like the
No.
artesian well, flowing with endless supplies of water, nectar. And because he's the artesian well, a well that comes spontaneously from the earth. And we want him to drench what Lord Chaitanya did. Broke open the storehouse of love of God. Those who were devotees, they drowned. Those who were not devotees, they floated. But I think it's important because Sacramento is not a huge place. We don't want to create factions. So we need to make our position clear.
Yes, Sacramento. Sacramento is a capital city of California, which you know already, and it is about 460,000 people, if you want to, in Sacramento. So I don't know, you call it big, small, medium, but it is a significant place. And if the truth is spoken and people are attracted, Srila Prabhupada's and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's glories will continue. But
Yes.
we have to.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
No, I'm listening.
So that's why we should continue doing what we are doing and make it more refine it as we go along. Not only that, but make a practical application of how people can apply this, the same model anywhere.
So we need to have the Prabhupada-centered ISKCON without dragging up the whole Ritvik controversy.
Yes.
Because it's not authentic. The whole thing from both sides, the Ritvik argument from both sides is not very authentic. Prabhupada was doing Ritvik initiations from the 1970 on or so, which is what Gargamuni was saying very nicely. And
yes.
And then the Ritvik thing turned into an anti-ISKCON movement, stating we want Prabhupada, but we don't want ISKCON. Well, we want Prabhupada and ISKCON. We want ISKCON and we want Prabhupada, but we don't know what has happened to ISKCON due to the bogus approach that they have taken to the having twisted and perverted the process.
Yes, they have made ISKCON a corporate entity instead of a spiritual dynamic movement that keeps growing and growing and growing, like an infection.
Yes.
So the infection has stopped, the Krishna conscious infection, because of these so-called gurus, GBC, ISKCON guru disciples, their different factions. So we cannot participate in that because that is asat. That's not, anything substantial there. It's just bringing us down. I always want to make progress in spiritual life, consciousness. Consciousness.
Yes.
Gets.
So I think I will try to think to generate a position paper. And I don't mean something like 20 pages long. I mean like basically 1 page long, maybe in the form of an outline, showing how ISKCON is meant to be structured. And that if they have any argument against it, well, welcome. Let them come forward with some proof.
Yeah, that's, we should be ready to.
Because it's like the election going on now. It's all power. It's based on power, not on truth or fairness or anything. Just power.
Right. Yes.
So we put up our position and say, what is your answer to that? And then with this guy, you can make a position paper, hand him print them out, and hand him a dozen copies. If people have any problem coming to you, we don't want to disturb your mind. We don't want to disturb their minds. Just hand them this paper, and then you'll say, this is what they're doing. If you have an argument or an issue, or you think ISKCON is being harmed, then contact them.
Yeah.
But how can you can't just say, oh, my guru said this. Because if I say my guru said this, well, who told your guru that he's a guru?
Right.
So you're quoting an echo. What is the real reality? Where is the guru? Where is the authority of the guru? And how do they establish how they became a guru? How did they establish how they became GBC? The guru thing they could escape with if they take the idea. Prabhupada made Ritviks, then he sent the Ritviks to Sridhar Maharaj how to become regular gurus. Then they became regular gurus and took all the disciples that were supposed to be initiated by Prabhupada by them as Ritviks for Prabhupada. They took them and made their own disciples out of them. Yeah, you can say that, and they could say, how are you going to dodge, how are you going to argue with that position exactly, except that they're not qualified, which is a major factor. I mean, a Ritvik
Right.
doesn't have to be that qualified. But a Ritvik that's a guru, becomes a regular guru, he has to be qualified. And they prove
Right.
themselves over and over again. But by the time they prove themselves not qualified, they already had so many people there, and then they were falling down one after another. The gurus.
Yeah. Yes.
So the guru's falling down, but by that time the system has been changed. We have a new guru system. So they fall down, you get a new one to replace him. He gets better. He is no longer fallen. You know, I mean, they've created a whole mythology around a bogus guru or a successor guru that has nothing to do with our sampradaya, the history of our sampradaya, or the teachings of anyone in our sampradaya.
Yes.
So clarifying, I think the first thing we need, I will try to do, is create a position paper, very simple, one page, maybe even as a outline, and say, okay, this is how ISKCON was designed by Prabhupada to work.
Yeah.
And
That'd be nice.
now, then they can say, but he changed it. Oh, okay, yes, I'm willing to look at whatever document you have that he used to change it. So, well, it was in conversations. Well, you know what Prabhupada said about conversations? He said you have to be, what he said was, you have to be very, very careful whatever you write. Whatever you write has to be impeccable. But when you're talking, he laughed and said, you can say any damn thing. Those were his words. You can say any damn thing. Why? Because when you talk, it doesn't count. Who's going to, I mean, that's the whole problem with Christianity. It's all based on endless talk and nothing written. All they write is what they talked.
Right. Right.
So where is it? I mean, what they have created is a sort of an oral mythology surrounding a person that they say may or may not have been called Jesus, because there's different names now also coming out of the woodwork for Jesus. And so where's the authenticity? Well, the fact that the ISKCON movement, when it became GBC, not elected GBC, and then gurus, it fit right with the Catholic mythology, the Catholic Church standard. So with that standard, there we are with a bunch of oral histories that nobody can agree upon. But if we come in, what? Go ahead.
Go ahead, finish your point, then I'll say something that nobody could agree on. So I wanted to make a point regarding that. Recently, Shiv Ram Swami, he made a video about female Diksha gurus, and he was quoting Srila Prabhupada and saying how Srila Prabhupada never elected a woman temple president, this and that, and he was quoting Srila Prabhupada, and then he was saying that a lot of people will not agree with him, and he's willing to follow the GBC, whatever the GBC is doing, but he's disagreeing with the GBC's position. So how does this work?
Well,
it's like a conundrum, you know?
Well, it's also the way the Catholic Church operates. I don't know how many people have studied the Catholic Church or the politics of the Catholic Church, but quite frankly,
oh, so this is a politics from the Catholic Church system, huh? Interesting.
Yeah. It's everybody's trying to put their two pieces in. They said, I think this is authentic, but they can't go against the cardinals. They can't go against the Pope. They can't go against this committee or that committee that are designated by the Pope to make these decisions as to how things are supposed to be. So, you see what I mean?
Yeah. So it's a big division amongst the GBC, the gurus, the disciples. It's a mess, Prabhu. I mean, it's like,
Well, there is that clear, simple quote that Prabhupada made a clear statement in 1968 to the reporter that she asked, "Are you going to make a organization, sort of a top-down organization, sort of like the Catholic Church?" And he said no, and this is a documented statement that he made.
right.
So now that's exactly what they've done.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for us to, because at the time that I was arguing points, we were all arguing within ISKCON. But I
Yes.
think at this point, I'm not in ISKCON at all. I never was. But for some reason, we all acted like we want ISKCON to do the right thing.
Right. Right.
But now I think we can conclude factually that ISKCON is not going to do the right thing.
They will never do the right thing. I think I have realized that.
Therefore, we have to wipe the slate clean. Supposing you have people like kids going up to do the mathematical equations on the blackboard, and they all make mistakes. So you wipe the blackboard and you start putting the formula properly.
Right. Right.
That's what we must do at this point.
Yeah. It's gone too far off the cliff, and they have fallen already. Go ahead.
What does
Prabhu.
that mean, wipe the slate clean in action?
What?
What does it mean to wipe the slate clean in action?
We have to stop considering all the pros and cons that people came up with. Like you were saying, I don't think Prabhupada wanted women gurus, but I'll go along with the GBC. Okay, you're going to go along with the GBC, but how do you establish that the GBC is authoritative? Where does the GBC get their Siddhanta? Where do they get who gives them the right to say these things?
Yeah.
And besides, that's the GBC that they have now. Take it back to 1970. How does a guy elected for 3-year term to help manage small temples able to do that? Make a decision. I'm going to agree with the GBC. Well, if you don't want to agree with the GBC, wait 3 years. He won't be in office anymore. But that's not what happened, right? Real GBC cannot make a decision like that. So what we're doing is we're going against a Catholic Church structure that has nothing to do with anything that Prabhupada wrote or talked about. And when he did write or talk about it, it was to say he didn't want it.
Right. Right.
So I think that to answer your question, they have to say, can the GBC trace their roots? Where does the GBC get their authority, and when did they get it? And by what means did they get the authority to be GBC? You have to go back. It's like you have a whole team, a whole office full of attorneys, and it turns out none of them ever went to law school.
Right.
So wait a minute. So what's your authority? You're talking big talk. Oh, Supreme Court. Oh, this court, district court. We're going to go. We're going to win. We're going to do. I said, but where's your authority?
They're going to ask the same thing about us. What is your authority? We are functioning as a body. So we're doing our business. Why are you interfering? They'll say.
Well, but we're talking about two things. And we're with us. We're all together. What you're mentioning is, yeah, we're not the body. That's the philosophy that we teach, and that what the ISKCON organization is supposed to represent. Really, the ISKCON organization is simply a process of studying, realizing, and implementing Prabhupada's writings and language on tapes, etc. If we can implement it, sure, yes, we're not the body. So what has that got to do with the ISKCON structure? Well, the ISKCON structure is constructed so that many people will have easy access on their own to Krishna consciousness movement.
Jai.
Yeah. Otherwise, you don't need ISKCON at all. Just distribute books and let people study them and practice. But you understand that how many millions of books have been distributed and how few people are practicing as a result.
Right, right.
They may like the books, they may wish they could practice, they may want to join the religion, or what they think ISKCON is a religion or something. They may want to join the religion or visit the religion or go to Rath Yatra. All these things are triggers or stimuli. Rath Yatra's purpose is to stimulate the population to understand that God exists.
Jai.
That's the only reason to have Rath Yatra. It's not a celebration like a birthday party for your 10-year-old kid. You know, where you say, oh, happy birthday to you. No, that's on a material, very inside the family material level birthday parties. But Rath Yatra is like a birthday party for the whole culture, not a birthday party just for somebody's 10-year-old kid. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes, it makes sense.
Or does it? You see,
Bhanu
when
Prabhu,
I
does it
say,
make sense?
Ratha Yatra, this God comes outside to give darshan to all the devotees, all the
Yeah,
Why
people.
does God come out?
it's a big celebration to celebrate Krishna. Jagannath is Krishna.
Jai.
So what's a birthday party? It's a big celebration to celebrate your 10-year-old kid. So unfortunately, they've turned Rath Yatra more into a birthday party for the 10-year-old kid. Oh, let's go to Rath Yatra. And then everybody's thinking how they're going to have fun. They're going to talk to each other. They're going to, you know, this is all bona fide. It's all part of the whole practice. But
Yeah, Prabhu.
well, it's part of the whole practice. But the end result is different. In one sense, you're uplifting the people. At Rath Yatra, you should see in Puri, amazing how uplifted the people are. They have become like in a million people in a trance of ecstasy.
Jai, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Are they all pure devotees? No. But they come there and they make enormous advancement in the presence of Lord Jagannath. So ISKCON is a structure to facilitate spiritual advancement. That's all it is. So to do that, one has to understand the objective of Krishna consciousness and how to not try to control people.
Ah, very good. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what our local congregation in Sacramento is about, controlling people, either by force, by, intimidation, by threats, by the GBC, by the lawyers,
But by charisma, I'm so attractive,
charisma.
you want to come and hear me, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
we
this
need to
is
break
all
that
temporary
pattern.
things.
Yeah. And
Yes.
it turns it into cults. Of course, the word cult for Krishna
Yes.
consciousness is not a bad word. Prabhupada writes about the cult of bhakti and stuff like that. Cult means to cultivate.
Right.
But
Right.
when cults are coming up, you have one guy, charismatic leader, and everybody swarms around him. And he may be a demon. He may be having sex with all of his followers. There's all these things that cults do. But for
Right.
ISKCON to become a cult, it's just a way of making a material life for the body, which is comfortable with, again, like the Catholic Church, the promise of salvation. But our goal is that we're not here to promise salvation. We're here to give people an opportunity to become independent philosophers.
Pure devotees. Yeah.
Well, you can't become a pure devotee unless you're an independent philosopher.
Right. That comes first.
It's not a group experience.
Yes. Yes. That is the thing. I think a lot of people in ISKCON here in Sacramento also, they think, oh, this is a group event. Oh, let's, how do you do? Let's eat together. Why don't you come and associate? Why you're, running away? Why am I running away? Because I'm not looking forward to this. I want to do something bigger, something nicer.
Yes. Yeah.
In progressive. I I haven't been able to do anything progressive with them, honestly speaking. And I'm sure you have the same experience in your 50 years or since 68. I mean.
Well, yes. Yes. So after that time, I worked within the structure of ISKCON to do things like I built a temple in Los Angeles.
Right.
And illustrated Prabhupada's books. These are when Prabhupada was here. He was building temples and he was generating and broadening the movement. He was creating a broad base. I had very good ideas how to make it even much better, to make it very good, and much more to celebrate. But they were not smart enough to want it. I would bring up these things and no, we're not going to do that,
Yeah, that's the thing here in Sacramento. I suggested many good suggestions about, me and Shravan said, let's get rid of the changed books. But the temple president, he said, oh, it's a gradual process. I'm like, come on, man, you're the president. You can do anything you like, they're still,
well, he doesn't want to give up the changed books because he's afraid of the impact of what will happen to him if he does.
Yes.
So if he says it's a gradual process, we can start introducing the unchanged books, but we don't want to stop the changed books because we don't want a Vaisheshika or somebody to come in and kill us. Wipe our movement.
That's basically it.
Pure control factors.
So that's why Shravan, me, we're aloof in one sense, and at the same time we're connected also, seeing all these discrepancies and giving suggestions. But they don't take suggestions; they just take suggestions of the the top man or who knows who the top people are. It's just
they have an it's a church, like the Catholic Church. If you're going to say let's put in a slightly different Bible, I think there's an original Bible. We're going to present the original Bible. Well, maybe bit by bit, you can say little by little.
Yeah.
But you're not going to go into a Catholic church and take out all the Bibles and replace them with Bibles that you say are better. This is a more.
Well, they replace the text with. Everyone is called a devotee there. That term devotee is assigned to everyone, all the people coming, all the sadhakas. So they made devotees.
What point are you trying to make?
They're given perks. So they feel happy.
No, they're not given any perks. What perks they're here in Sacramento? They're not given any perks for distributing the edited books. They're changed books, changed philosophy, everything changing. What perks they're given? I don't see any perks for them.
Well, they get a place to sleep. They get fed.
Well,
They make some money.
maybe they're making money, but who knows?
Well, if you sell a book, you get some money. You give some to the temple, you keep some, right?
But these people, they don't distribute any books. Hardly they distribute any books.
Oh, then what's
So
the talk about books?
yeah, that's the thing. I have no idea why they, you know. Anyways, Prabhu, um, let's shift gears. Hmm.
Hare Krishna, go ahead and say hello.
Who is that?
This is a Zoom call on the how to restore ISKCON to its original condition. How to, yes. So here is
Joseph?
Dr. Ronald Singh. Introduce yourself.
Can they see me?
Come,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
See,
Krishna.
there you are.
Jai.
Say so. Now, what are you going to say? Introduce your name.
I am Rupa Kanta. Prabhu,
Rupa
I just
Kanta.
finished some wonderful service in the back of the temple. It was so.
Hey, Rupakanta, look at the screen. Prabhu, look,
I can't
Jai.
hear nothing.
you're there.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
So ask him what is his service in New Dwarka? What is his service?
What is your service in your Dwarka?
Oh, I clean the lotus feet, shoes of the cooks who serve Radharani's deity kitchen.
Oh, very nice. Jai.
He is, I think the word is Paka. You're a Paka devotee.
I'm like a Paga devotee. Okay.
Well, he's got
Where
the
are you
attitude.
from? Where is
And
he
where are
from,
these
Prabhu?
guys?
Where's your country?
I live in the upper third world country. No country. I have no country.
Well,
No.
where were you born?
I am a refugee from Goloka.
I'm also a
I have
refugee.
fallen from Goloka and I'm a refugee and I'm trying to go back and they put a border with border
ISKCON.
patrol.
ISKCON has put a border. That's what border you're working.
Yeah. Are you looking to see ISKCON revived into its original form?
Yes, we may not go to that original one, but we can continue to another original one.
Meaning?
But we can have all the aspects to make it original. As long as it is there, then you can establish the Dharma. That would be the real one.
Yeah.
Whether it is in the future, whether it has a different look and feel, does not matter. What matters is that if we are there.
Yes.
If we are there, in the emotion and in the right attitude and in the right sadhana and in the right mind and all of us are meeting on the right page, then we are there.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Paka.
Yeah. So we just have to work out some kinks and then we are good.
But
what are
would
the
you like
kinks?
to see ISKCON once again restored to the way Prabhupada said he wanted it?
Of course, I have not met Prabhupada, but I miss him very dearly.
Jai.
Yeah. I have to go. There's another Zoom over there.
Oh, well, you better zoom to your Zoom.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai.
I think he's a way above average guy. He's way above average.
He was talking about things that normal ISKCON people don't think about.
Right. So he's here at the temple. He's rendering service at the temple, but he has his own belief that he's serving those who are serving Radharani in the kitchen. He's cleaning in the kitchen.
That's great.
But
Jai.
he knows there's more to it than that.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to say it.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, he knows there's more to it, but he doesn't want to say it, or maybe he doesn't know it. Maybe he does know it, but he doesn't want to speak it.
He feels it.
Yeah, he feels it.
He feels it, and in many ways he knows it. He knows me from some time,
Right.
so he's heard many things.
Acha.
But you see, I have come,
Uh-huh.
surprisingly, recently, to exfoliate myself from anything resembling what ISKCON says it is. And I only am
Yeah, I
willing to
think I'm
deal
in a
with,
similar situation.
yes. So we're refugees from the sinking lifeboat that they call ISKCON. But
Right.
we are going to create, we want to swim to the ship, the Jaladuta ship that is ISKCON,
Right.
and climb on board. So we will make it again, ISKCON. You know,
Right.
I understand why I keep wanting you to do as much talking as you can yourself, because of Sacramento is a big place, 450,000 people. Well, I'm in LA with about 8.5 million people.
Right.
But I don't know them all personally. So in Sacramento, you have that big group. But in another sense, and I know Sacramento because I spent some time there working on the state capitol project.
Right. Right.
Back in, what year was it? Oh, 1980.
Right.
So from being in Sacramento, it's also, and because it's political, a very political city, that it's also very compartmentalized and it's also very divided. So we need to be very careful putting out information that will just explain what we're doing without using many words.
Isn't
And
it a huge task to, I mean, revive ISKCON, Prabhu?
What?
Because
Divide is. You're
revive,
saying
oh,
revive, revive.
well, Dr. Ronald can tell you, you know, there's a lot of Indian groups of various types in Sacramento, and it's more tight than Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, there's probably 10 times more, but they're all over the place. You have to drive many, many miles to get to them. But in Sacramento, everything is fairly within a confined space.
Yes.
Is that not, Ronald?
Yes. Yes. Very much.
I mean, it took a pre-devotee like Prabhupada to brainwash people into spiritual, to get them on some sort of spiritual platform. Now they have taken, people have taken gurus, bogus gurus, and they're unobvious of the fact that they're not the true gurus. Now, how much time would it take to get them to the original state and not believing that though they aren't the authentic gurus? It would deprogram them. It would take a lot of time. I mean, they would deny believing it also. They would resist it.
If it's based on my preaching, it could take kalpas or hundreds of thousands of years. But if you preach, it could be very quick.
Yeah, it's your responsibility, Banu,
But,
to do that service. Everyone's responsibility. Who knows the truth and they should act on it. And if there's results, then we can take some credit. But it will act, and it's acting. We can see that with our discussions we have had. It's happening.
wherever you go, with whomever you speak, simply speak of Krishna.
Jai.
So that's the basic standard. But we have to see the effect of it.
Right.
In other words, if we preach to people and we just talk to them and they go away and nothing happens, but if we talk to somebody and say, I want to join your ashram, then that has an effect. I want to make advancement. I want to become
Yeah, people
an
have,
independent philosopher myself. In other words,
yes, people have told me, people have said, Ronald, you do something and we'll support and give donations. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? It's in the works. So this is what we're working towards. So there are people there,
well,
join the ashram or support the books. They give donations for the books, they ship the books. So it's a work in progress, and they're
so
watching these videos.
we need to make a body of literature, meaning pages. I think right now, it for the most part, individual pages, not too much reading. Just show what we're trying to do, what we're doing, and then explain what we're attempting, what we are looking forward to see happening, and
Got
then see it, because then the people that are saying, "Oh, you're bashing ISKCON," they'll say, "We're not bashing ISKCON. We're offering an alternative to what you're experiencing in ISKCON." And we claim that
Yes.
our claim is that this alternative is coming from the way Prabhupada said he wanted it, not why somebody said that Prabhupada said he wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
They were directly.
Well, are
But-
they looking for an alternative? Because Ronald Prabhu, you talk with Kavanation. I mean, him. He just you saw how he interacted with us even though you were providing him facts about the gurus.
Yes, because people are so deeply involved with the gurus, they become colorblind and they cannot see the truth. So, I mean, I'm an example. I mean, I hung out with these people for 8, 9 years, 10 years, and just recently, by giving that association up, and then Krishna arranged and facilitated for more people to come in my life, like Narayan Prabhu and others who actually were present in 1968, 1970, 1971 to help me understand the whole picture. So,
Yes, but it's not just being there at the time, because I know tons of people,
yes,
most of them are still alive, who were there at that time. But they didn't understand it then, so they don't understand it now. So they went
Right.
along with the whole thing. Even if they're dissatisfied, oh, it isn't the way it used to be. Oh, I remember the feasts, how good they were. I remember Sankirtan. It was so ecstatic.
right,
They can say all those things, but they don't know the math.
right,
They don't know why it was that way. They just experienced it. And they were happy experiencing it. And now they're not as happy. Now they're thinking of the good old days. It's like when you're young and you go to
Yeah.
parties and you go to the beach, and you have fun, you drive around in a convertible and you honk your horn at others. And then when you get older, you don't do that anymore. And then when you get really old, you remember all the good old days when you used to drive around in your car honking your horn. Well, that's not what the purpose was.
right, right. Another thing is that to learn something new, and to learn something new, which is the truth, you have to forget the bogus thing that you have understood. And we have
Yes.
all these attachments to these people, or what would they think, how would they think of me? They might label me. This is all temporary upadhis.
Well, that's because we're in a state of acute transition. It's like when a baby starts
Right.
coming out of the womb, he's losing his womb. He's losing where he was for his whole conscious life was in the womb. Now he's
Right,
leaving.
right.
And
right.
it's painful also, difficult. And I'm sure he says, why the hell am I leaving this womb? I was there. It was too tight
fine.
and everything, but life was easy in there. Now I'm coming out into a world that I have no idea what it's going to be like.
Right, right.
So that's what we're doing. But now I'm a little curious about that guy, the Panditji, uh, saying that what we're saying that ISKCON is harmed or probably going to start. What was he talking about?
He was talking about our conversation, and when we talk about historical accounts of the bogus gurus, how they were involved in racketeering, child molestation, and how these things were due reactions of disobedience to Srila Prabhupada's instructions, which which is a fact, you know,
Okay,
that these things occurred. I guess he
so
doesn't want to hear these things, or maybe he's associated with these people, and it's shaking his faith in these so-called ISKCON people. I don't know. It's what
well,
his
there's another possible angle, is that if you're going to maintain an organization, you have to not expose the crookedness in it, right?
right,
That's
right,
that's what again it's the Catholic Church, and of
right,
course it's every organization.
right.
Christians,
So,
Hindus,
it,
rabbis molesting children. I mean, the whole thing is cover, covering it up to make it look better than it is.
Yeah, but people are more intelligent than that. People will see all this, and the practical thing is here in Sacramento, people are seeing that no one is joining. People are complaining. I've been here 10 years. The yatra is not increasing. It's actually decreasing and splitting off, and people are leaving. So why? They cannot
Yeah,
understand all
well,
this one.
the only reason people join a group because everyone is on the bodily platform, at least initially, right? So
Right.
why does a
Me
person
too.
join a group? They join the group because they're getting something out of it.
Right,
They're
right.
getting something. Now,
Hmm.
I've been introducing the idea to say the idea of joining a group is to get the point. What is the point? Well, it depends on the group. Whatever the point of the group is, that's the point. Our
Right, right.
point is Guru Shastra Sadhu, and
Right.
that I aham brahmasmi, sat asat. If I can go to a group where the study is how to shed the idea of being asat to come to the realization that I am Sat, and that if I realize that by chanting the Maha Mantra, it triggers the Sat mentality, then I have something to go to that group for.
Yes, yes.
But if they're not
Hmm.
going, it's just because they go there. It's sort of social, it's sort of religious, ritualistic, and
Looks
boring, and
nice.
then they don't,
Yeah.
yeah, then they get bored and they don't want to come back again.
Right, right.
Or if they do come back, it's out of guilt. Well, I am a Hindu, so I guess I should go.
Right. Uh-huh. So,
So we're at a perfect position in history right now, I think.
Jai.
Right
No,
now, where
definitely.
I feel, where I experience myself being, is the perfect position in history. And you too. You
Yes.
are right on the cusp of the determination that will make everything self evident.
Yes. Yes.
Just like in the Constitution, in the Declaration of Independence of the United States, that says, we hold these truths to be self evident, that all men are created equal, and that they're endowed by their Creator by certain unalienable rights, amongst which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I mean, that's a very profound statement, no matter what it's associated with. You can say that about Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
We hold this truth to be self evident that all men are spiritually equal because we're all Jivas, part and parcel of Krishna. We're
Jai.
endowed by our Creator by certain unalienable life. Yes, we're eternal. Liberty. Yes, we have freedom of action. And the pursuit of happiness.
Yes.
Bhakti. What is that happiness? So we can apply that Declaration of Independence, which is a Masonic document, by the way, not
Yeah.
Christian, far from Christian. We can apply that Declaration of Independence to ISKCON, and everyone will like it better than what they're being told.
Yeah, because like you said, everyone is an independent living entity. And if we take that away, then everything becomes boring, everything becomes stale, everything becomes uh,
Oh,
unpalatable.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
this is
because
what's
all you experience in a stagnant location is the fact that your body, dragging your mind after it, is getting older and older.
yeah,
What you
yeah,
used to be in a place 1 year, 10 years, 100 years, 50 years, the longer you're in that place, the more boring it gets because it gets older. We need everything to be ever fresh.
joy. I
Yes.
mean, you make a point that the Jiva is part and parcel of Krishna, and it has the same minute qualities as Krishna. So if we are part and parcel of Krishna, we must be able to act in that degree uh, uh, to some extent. You know, this is an actual.
Well, our problem is the fact of we made a choice, maybe an unconscious choice, but a choice nonetheless, to come to the material world.
Yes.
And once we're here, we cannot experience anything with Krishna except through devotional service, meaning Kanista then Madhyam Adhikari. When we
Huh.
get through the Madhyam Adhikari stage, then we get to the Uttama Adhikari stage, then we have that experience of being reunited with Krishna.
But aren't we having these experiences already now in a minute degree by associating with devotees and getting the point? We're
Yes,
having it to some degree now.
yes, but it's minute.
Yes, that's my yeah. But it's still
We're not, we're not,
something
we're
better than
not in
nothing.
the, we're not, of course, we're not running around in the fields of Vrindavan.
Of course not. But we can be running around uh, in 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 a way that we like to run around by serving Krishna. Like
Yes,
uh,
well, you can run around on Sankirtan in Sacramento.
yeah, and so this is the type of thinking and feeling and willing that people should have. It's ever increasing. So the jiva is part and parcel of Krishna. He wants to experience new and new things, new and new rasas. So if that
But
is
we
not
want to,
happening,
but we need to, that, yes, it's not happening because we're not engaging others
yes,
in this.
engaging
Right here
others.
on this Istagosti, we are engaging others. We're engaging
Yes,
each other. You're
right.
engaging me, I'm engaging you, and Bhanu Prabhu is engaging both of us.
Yes.
We're being engaged and are engaging. That's the beginning. But we're so used to everything being so dreadful that it's hard for us to imagine living like that, living a
Mm,
life of being engaged.
yeah,
It's hard to imagine because we have to struggle so hard just to get from day to day, but we have
right.
this vision of what can happen. Well, it's time for us to start realizing that Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta and Gorkishore Das Babaji and Dr. Bhakti Vinod created a process for us that is doable and blissful.
Joy.
So it's just a question of making it happen. But it has to be more realistic than the early days of ISKCON, but with that equal level of enthusiasm.
Joy.
One thing
Yes.
that could happen, we need to progress some more. But and as we do, and we need more, create our own literature, obviously. Otherwise, because we don't want to be offending people or making like we're belong to one party, they're another party,
Yeah, that
which
is.
is what that guy seems to be thinking.
Yeah.
But why does he care? When you talk to him, what was his real concern?
His real concern is he's a pundit, and he has Prabhupada's books that we have given him, and somehow or other he has some sentimental feelings for ISKCON. He thinks that when we talk about certain issues, it's harming Srila Prabhupada, which is not true. And this is
Well,
contrary
how
to what.
can talk
Uh,
about corruption by members claiming to be gurus harm Prabhupada?
Yeah, that's what I asked him. He was
What
not.
did he say?
He was like, you know what you're doing, and if you think you're doing something positive, you continue. So he was just blabbering about uh, his mental concoctions, basically. He has some mental, uh, uh, mental
Yeah. He
concoctions,
told his
and
side of the story, but he wasn't prepared to hear your side of the story.
yes. So,
Let's move on.
so, so we have these types of Hindus who are so-called defenders of ISKCON, and even if the guru is a pedophile, and you tell him, hey, this guy's a pedophile, you should stay away from him.
Zoom call.
He'll,
Yeah. Introduce yourself, sir. Now, look, here's your face.
Hi, this is Tulsi Ram.
Tulsi Ram, Hare Krishna,
Yeah.
where is he from?
Hare
Where is he from?
Krishna.
Ask him.
Where are you from? What country?
You from South India?
South India.
And who are
Jai.
we speaking to?
I am
Hare Krishna.
Ronald. I am Ronald.
Where from South
Namaste,
India,
Hare
Prabhu?
Krishna.
Where are you from South India? Andhra
Where
Pradesh,
are-
Tamil Nadu?
Can't hear.
You were born in South India?
No, I live there
Yeah, but where were you born?
in North Africa.
You was born in North Africa.
Oh,
Okay.
And
Joy.
where are they?
But
Tell
this
him
man
I'm from
is a
Fiji.
very. I brought him over again because he is a sober individual with a very deep and beautiful understanding of Krishna consciousness. We are discussing here how to recreate ISKCON in such a way that people can accept it the way they accepted Prabhupada at the beginning.
Right.
Without, okay, right. So can you say something to that effect? I've never known you to be a loss for words.
Well, it's a very wide subject, but
Narrow it down
Well-
to a point.
well,
The Jiva's a dot, so make it a dot.
well, if you see the history of the movement, the movement is not today what it used to be before,
Yeah?
So it's a long story, but there are many opinions. But
I don't want your opinion. I want your realization.
well,
Yes.
I'm just a very simple person.
It's okay.
I live in-
That's not true. But anyway, keep going.
So where are they speaking from?
Well, this is.
I'm
Go ahead.
I'm from
Ronald
Fiji.
Singh he's from Fiji,
Okay,
but he's speaking from Sacramento.
Sacramento.
This
Hare
is
Krishna.
Banu.
Okay, from where?
Telangana,
Nadu.
Andhra Pradesh.
He's in Andhra
Telangana.
Pradesh right now.
Oh, Namaskaram ji.
Namaskaram, namaskaram.
Abhina.
బాగున్నాను నమస్కారం.
చాలా
Nice.
సంతోషం. Okay, very good. And to our Fiji friend, Bula.
Bula Fiji.
Anyway,
Bula Fiji.
so nice meeting you guys.
Yeah.
Krishna.
So this is something you can also join sometime if you like.
Yes, yes, yes.
We about 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock
Include
every
me,
night.
include me in the Zoom call.
Yeah, you can. We could have 100 people on Zoom,
Yes.
but I need a bigger
Right.
cell phone there.
Right, yes, yes.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol Tulsi Ram.
Hare Bol.
He's a good guy.
Prabhu. So you're here by Los Angeles Temple, New Dwarka, Prabhupada's headquarters?
Yeah, you see, I was babysitting. The reason I'm late tonight, I was babysitting my daughter and my granddaughter, they're both 10
Right.
years old, for my daughter,
right.
who's 47 years old. And she had to go out and take care of certain things.
Huh.
And she said, normally, she says, I don't want these children left alone for even 2 minutes.
Right.
But she said, why don't you do your Zoom call from your car downstairs and leave the door unlocked? If anything happens, they can come and get you. They'll know you're downstairs right here.
Jai. That's good.
So that's why she gave me that benediction. So normally I'm not near the temple when I'm doing the Zoom call, but tonight I am.
Hare Krishna.
It's sort of
Jai.
interesting though, because 2 people came by. You see, a lot of people like me because of I'm not part of the game. And I had a temple over on a couple of miles from here, or I had my art restoration studio, and I would have like 30, 40 people there once a month for a program, and we would discuss
Well,
exactly like this.
yeah, Jai.
It was
So
a gorgeous,
that's
gorgeous temple.
Jai. So that's the environment we need to create all over the world,
Yes. So that's
every
what
town and village.
it was.
That's how people.
And I had an ashram in from 1998 till from 1998 until 2007,
Eight, no, 2009.
2000 no, until 2009. I had a place over on La Brea up in Hollywood, and
Jai.
we had as many, sometimes 25 people in our classes.
Right.
And
Jai.
they stayed there in the ashram. It was a big place. And it was my art restoration studio. So they would
Uh-huh.
stay there with me. I would pay them in those days $10 an hour, all the food they can eat. And they didn't have to buy a car or anything because they get transportation. They had work for $10 an hour working in art restoration. And they had so much fun. And
Yeah,
every
that's
morning,
Uh-huh.
we started 6 o'clock in the morning. We just couldn't get up for like 4 o'clock because we were working
Of course.
so hard.
Yeah.
But we got at 6 o'clock. We were there for 2 hours, and then we took prasadam and then went to work.
Yeah, that's. I think that's. We need to recreate that. Same kind of,
Well, yes,
That's-
and we need to recreate it. That's what Prabhupada decided. Sorry, my phone is wiggling. Prabhupada decided that a temple could be one person inviting others, incorporated as ISKCON.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out how to incorporate.
That's where it might get difficult legally.
Well, I don't know how difficult it could be. Do
Ah.
you know any lawyers?
Well, ISKCON is a registered trademark, meaning like Apple or something like that, and they will not let you use their name. So you can register under a different entity, but follow Srila Prabhupada's guidelines.
What?
Are you establishing? Are you?
Yeah, we're getting things done.
Oh, wonderful.
You want to say hi again?
No, they've seen me already.
Well, you have to get in the picture.
Haribol, I am leaving now. I will try to
Don't leave yet.
be on your group because I would love to.
Oh, do you have a pen? Do you have a pen?
Hear the wonderful,
Write down my number. Prabhu, give him his number.
that you have.
Yeah, give him. Tell him I'm giving
Ronald Saint.
Sacramento.
Yeah.
My phone number is 916.
Well, let's see if I can get this written down. Yeah.
916 430.
Wait, I'm writing. Or you want to write? All right. 916 430.
0045.
Okay. 916 430 0065.
45 0045.
Okay.
0045.
Okay. Ronald Singh.
Yes. 916 430 0045.
So it's a phone number. I call this number.
Yes,
Yeah, just
that's
call
his
me.
phone number.
And then you
Yes.
get into the group.
Yeah, he'll introduce how you get in.
Oh, okay. Achha.
Haribol.
Thank you for the invite.
Yes, you're most welcome.
Jai. Hare Krishna. So people are waking up. You can see that. They want to participate in something ever fresh, ever, expanding, always, growing.
Yes.
And that's how Prabhupada was doing and working. 17 volumes of books in what, 18 months or something? That's impossible. But not impossible for the
You
pure
mean the
devotee. Everything's
Chaitanya
yeah.
Charitamrita?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
it was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It was
Just see.
technically impossible.
Right.
And take into
So
account, it was done without computers.
yes.
They were
And
taking the type and running it through a linotype machine and pasting it onto pages and photographing each page.
wow. So these devotees get all the credit. I mean, Jai, for doing this wonderful seva.
Yeah, well, that's what Prabhupada said. He said, actually, this was all going to be, was already pre-done by Krishna.
Jai.
But because you're doing this great work, you can take the credit.
Hare Krishna. So
Jai. So I can
so
see that. So, but again, back to that pundit,
go ahead, Prabhu.
that he's worried about the reputation of ISKCON. And he's saying, what was he really getting at?
Yeah, he was saying that, Ronald, what you're doing is, it seems to me that is actually harming Prabhupada and ISKCON's name. He told me specifically like this. So I tried to explain to him, whatever has happened is because of the deviations that occurred in 1960s, 70s, and 80s. So he was not willing to listen. So what can I say? I told him that what you're talking about is things that actually happened, and these types of people who are in charge, they actually did all these criminal activities. So
Yeah.
he's probably
So he's
on the
saying,
sentimental.
yeah.
He's
Go
probably a
ahead.
sentimental person who Indians are generally sentimental. You probably know that in associating with them for 50 years or 60 years or whatever,
Yes, sometimes.
more or less. So, and he has a following also. And he also reads Srila Prabhupada's books, and we give him books.
He actually reads them?
Yes, he actually reads them.
Okay. But in terms of his remark, I think it could be simplified. If I may try to simplify it.
Please,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I think it could be said like this: we're all in this together, so keep a lid on it.
I think that's it. You nailed it.
Yeah. So they're going to say bad things about ISKCON, then maybe people will start saying things about the other group and another group, and then about my group, and like that. Let's just all get along together.
That's probably what.
Group, yeah. Let's keep a. We're in the same game together. Let's keep a lid on.
Right. Yeah, he told me that you're a devotee of Krishna. I'm a devotee of Krishna, of course. But your understanding and my understanding is totally different. Yeah.
He said.
He said
now,
like this.
What is this understanding of Krishna?
I don't know. I didn't get into the details of what his understanding was, because it's probably,
You've never visited his group or anything like that?
No. I visited his group. He's a Karmakanda Pandit, and he knows Sanskrit, but philosophically is not Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. Karmakanda,
so,
it's not Vaishnava philosophy.
What does he want to see as the outcome of his teaching to people?
I don't know what. Maybe he's looking for followers, fame, recognition.
Sure. That's he wants. But what do they get out of it? Why do people come to him? Why do people come to him?
Because he can do. Because they're looking for material benefits. He can do sacrifices. He can chant mantras. He can, explain things with from the Vedic scriptures. So people come to him because he's learned to some degree, and he has some experience doing karma kanda. So he's
So
some
they're,
sort of authority, some sort of authority for them.
well, authority. They want. What I'm always looking for is what a guy comes there and he said, "What am I going to get out of this?" So
Yeah.
karma kanda. Can you explain a little bit what sort of karma kanda he teaches?
Oh, he teaches about doing sacrifices, uh, fire rituals, Ganesh pujas, basically, Anyabilashita Beach. You know, God,
And what
you
is the
do this.
what is the
Huh?
outcome when he does a
The out,
sacrifice? What is supposed to happen?
your material
What
life will progress. Basically, that is what all the Hindus are looking for. My
well,
wife, my children, they're obedient to me. My health is good. I live a long time. My children
Fulfilling the
have good
desires, Prabhu.
education.
Any desire people
so
have.
so in essence, what he's doing is he is tweaking the planetary influences to improve the karma that they're going to get out of their life.
You can say
Is
that.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, what else
You
would
can
it
say
be?
that.
They
Well,
want a
I
better
mean,
result than they would get by. In other words, they want a better result than they would get by not going to see him.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that better result is that I want to get a house. You do a sacrifice, maybe you'll get a better house like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
Is that it? Materialistic goal?
Yeah. That is what karma kanda is.
Well, I'm trying to understand how it is when you actually do it.
Oh yeah. That's karma kanda. It's talked about in the Vedic scriptures by Maharaj Parikshit, like the elephant taking a bath. He's very fresh and clean, but as soon as he comes out of the wonderful Ganga, he throws dust all over himself. So this type of logic and sacrifices we don't recommend, nor do we do. So
Right.
if we tell him that, he'll probably freak out. But it's our job to tell him that.
Is
We're
there
still
a
telling him.
spiritual component also or not? Or they just
Spiritual
imagine,
huh?
go ahead. They
Spiritual
imagine that if
component.
they are, yeah, go ahead.
Spiritual component may be that they hear some names of Lord Ganesh, Lord Krishna. There might be some significance to that, but ultimately the desire is to gratify my own sensors, my family's sensors. So you can say karma kanda. Of course, it has some benefit. You know, any Vedic rituals has some benefit, but the benefit
Not,
is
not,
material.
not necessarily.
Mhm.
Not necessarily. You know that? Are you familiar with that Japanese thing called Nirishoshin Shoshu? Namyoho Renge Kyo, Naroho Renge Kyo. They chant that mantra, which a friend of mine, there was a ISKCON sannyasi, got into it for a while, and he explained that that whole Namyoho Renge Kyo is actually derived from Sanskrit and involves the names of Krishna. But in
Acha.
any event, by chanting that, they meditate and chant that, they get accelerated good fortune. But
Oh, okay.
what I like to point out to that thing, and I'm trying to see if the same for karma kanda, that that if you accelerate your good fortune, that means you use it up sooner.
Yeah.
Supposing I'm going to get $1,000 a month from my inheritance, but
Right.
I want to get $2,000 a month. So I make some application to borrow against my inheritance to get $2,000 a month, but then my inheritance becomes smaller. I use it
Yes.
up.
Yes.
So
Yeah. That's
so I
yeah.
may get rich by chanting that Nam-myoho Renge-kyo to Gohonzon from the Japanese culture, but I will have less later on because I've used it up now.
Yes. So yeah, you can yeah, you accelerate your so-called
So
material
I'm thinking
progress.
karma kanda must be in the same thing because you cannot create good karma for people by any
Yeah, you
means.
cannot. Yeah.
It cannot be done. Why? Because you have whatever karma is the result of action and reaction you have done.
Right.
You can do action, you can do sacrifices and pujas to purify yourself from sinful things you've done if you can figure out what they are, but that might have a slight karma kind of benefit, but the actual fact is you can't eliminate your bad karma because you go to the court of Yamraj, that's the burden you're supposed to bear when you're here in this material world.
Yeah, so that is the sambonam of you cannot get rid of it. So
yeah. Well, anyhow, are we complete for this evening?
yeah, I think we're unless Bhanu Prabhu has some questions. He's been listening.
Bhanu.
No, I don't have any questions, Prabhu.
Okay.
You're sure?
We're discussing about the moment now. So.
Are you happy with what we're discussing?
I wanted to discuss about some Krishna consciousness. Today we discussed about the movement. It's okay.
You want to discuss what?
He wanted to discuss about Krishna consciousness.
Ah, like what?
Advancement. I mean, how to advance? General topic. I mean, general Krishna conscious topic.
Well, you are
advancing.
Aren't you advancing?
Krishna Katha, not not the history.
This is Krishna Katha.
Yeah.
By chanting kirtan and japa purely, you will make very rapid advancement in Krishna consciousness. There's no question of it. And also avoiding sinful activity, and by doing, making offerings to the deity. And you seem to have a beautiful deity because I see the lotus feet in front of me right now. And when you're doing that, the advancement, there's nothing to do to advance yourself. What we do to advance is to eliminate the obstacles that we have to being in relationship to Krishna. There's no, I am Sat, you're Sat. So there's nothing to be gained by practicing devotional service. You don't get anything. What you do is you lose the obstacles to realizing who you are in relation to Krishna.
Yeah.
That's the point, you see. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The journey and the destination are the same.
What? Are the same?
The journey and the destination is the same, Bhanu Prabhu is saying.
Well, that's quite right. That's excellent. By beginning on the journey, the destination will be attained. But in Krishna consciousness, there's a whole bunch of ways of becoming purified. You don't have to get anything to be a devotee of Krishna. You don't have to gain a single thing. All you need to do is become rid of your karma and your anarthas and your misconceptions. When you can get to the point of saying, I'm tired of telling Paramatma what to do, making Paramatma almost like my personal servant or slave. I'm not going to do that to Krishna anymore because Paramatma is Krishna. No, I'm going to say, make me dance like a puppet. You be the puppet master, Lord, and I will be the puppet. Instead of me demanding so many things and wanting so many things, and I'm asking you. I mean, if we think, how do we think we get something? We ask Krishna for it. We ask Paramatma.
Yes.
How can we get anything if we don't ask Paramatma? We can't. But we think, oh, if I get the car keys, I can go to the bank and take out $1,000. You can't do that without Paramatma. Not one step will work. And you might say, where does the $1,000 come from? That comes from your karma. From your past pious deeds that you've accumulated have given you a surplus that you can store and then spend. And when you spend it, you don't get it back again.
Yeah.
Does it make sense, Bhanu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhus.
Hare Krishna.
Is there
Jai,
anything else?
Hare Krishna.
Any
Bhanu
comments
Prabhu,
at
anything
all?
else? Oh yes, there are
Nothing
some
else, bro.
comments. I can read some comments.
Yeah,
Or do
sure.
you want to
read
do
it.
it tomorrow? Because or do you want to do it tomorrow, Prabhu?
I'd rather hear comments on the same day we're doing the
Okay.
talk,
So let me read the
because
comments. One second.
it fits better.
Okay.
And
Oh no,
and it
this
also
comment is
inspires.
this comment is from 3 days ago on one of the
That's all right.
videos we post. Okay. So that devotee Reena Radhika Devi Dasi Patel, she makes
Yes.
a statement. She says, very interesting about possessiveness of a woman of the husband. That makes sense when Prabhupada says women are low class. Of course, an actual female devotee is another league. Of course, an actual female devotee is in another league. Then, on top of that, the symptoms of pertaining to the female body make it a little bit harder. Wonderful realization. It then makes sense why the men then fall down because of their strong attachment to such women. Truly, it is Maya.
That's her
Should I read
comment.
it
It's a
again?
very nice comment. But there's
Yes.
one thing,
Go ahead.
Srimati Patel ji, that I would like to add, and that is the woman is not lower class. It's like saying, how can we say that Prakriti or Durga is lower class than Shiva? It's not lower class. It is a different type of class. It is a relationship based on service, not a relationship based on dominance. Because a woman serves in so many ways. She serves her husband, she serves her guests food, she cooks, she cares for her children, she gives birth to children, she nurtures them in the womb. These are all incredibly important services to do. If you're a devotee, they're glorious services to do. If you're an ordinary woman or even a cat or a dog or a moose, these are very important things to do and they are to be honored. No one should dishonor a woman for her functions, particularly giving birth and nurturing young. She should be greatly honored for that, even if she's in the body of a deer or an elephant. That should be honored. And we see that there's one example in a National Geographic, I think, that an baby elephant got stuck in the mud hole and he couldn't nurse. He was getting weaker and weaker after days. And the mother elephant was going mad trying to get the baby elephant out. All the adult elephants were also standing there in great loyalty, standing by the baby elephant. And some people came. Some people came and they began to work to get the elephant out. And finally, they brought a tractor with a scoop on it, and they actually scooped out the hole to make it wider. And they actually went in and they extracted the baby elephant and brought him out to the mother. And the mother was so happy and so thankful to the people that helped. So you can see the function of a mother is so glorious that we cannot say it's low class. We cannot. It's exalted. It's very high class. But the woman being more subservient to the man, well, we can see that Radharani is subservient to Krishna. It's just the nature of the female to be subservient to the male. That doesn't make Radharani less important than Krishna. And in fact, it's many ways to look at Radharani more important than Krishna.
Jai.
You know, because she's well, Lord Chaitanya in golden color came as Lord Radharani to understand her exalted nature, not her inferior nature. So this is we can understand. So Sri Radhika, her name is?
Yes.
Sri Radhika Patel ji, please understand that there is no question of a woman being of a lower class than anyone. But her job as all jivas are equal. Yin and yang are equal to each other. There's a dot of yang in yin, if you see a yin yang, and there's a dot of yin in yang. They're equal, but their function is different. And it doesn't make them less important or less valuable or of lesser caliber. We must, and particularly devotee women, should be understood to be Devi Dasi. They must be treated like demigoddesses. This is
Right.
Prabhupada's injunction. So at no point, I've loved everything that Radhika Sharma Patel, has said up till now. But when she says women are inferior, no, I have to disagree. I'm just joking because I'm not actually disagreeing, but I must say, please do not say that about women because it is not appropriate or true. And I'm not a nouveau feminist type of person. I am quoting Prabhupada.
Jai, Jai.
Yeah.
So
Is there another comment?
yeah, she made another comment at the same video. She's saying, Hare Krishna Prabhus, a question. What happens to she says, what happens to the worship given to a person like Tamal after he dies? Worship of him is still going on, but his soul is reincarnating. So in his next life, does he get praised? Or or it is material worship by his followers post departure, so it's pointless. Or Tamal would be become famous person, or somehow that worship is still going on to that soul. Of course, I don't know. It isn't the same as worshipping the pure devotee Prabhupada because it is actually because that is actually progress in spiritual life. So she's
That's
asking,
interesting. Is she
yes,
initiated by Tamal?
no, no. She's a
So why?
she's a pro. Uh, I think it's just a curious question that she's asking. What happens to people who worship Tamal after he dies? Worship of him is still going on. Is this
Or
soul reincarnated?
Kirtananda or Bhavananda or any of them,
Yes, yes, yes,
Chaipataka. What
yeah,
happens? Okay, well, first of all, consider what happens before they die. When Prabhupada gave fire sacrifice of Bhavitrava, he was able to pull the karma out and accept the karma of his disciples. But if a person is not an Uttama Adhikari and he acts as Diksha Guru, he is cannibalizing the good karma of his disciple. He's eating it up. He's putting it into his own energy field. This disciple is innocently or foolishly or even stupidly or maybe even wickedly giving himself to this non-realized soul. And that happens if you join with the mafia also. You
right,
join the mafia and then there you are. You've given yourself life and soul and you may be killed in the process of being the servant of that mafioso. So what is it? You give your life to another person. Now, if a woman gives her life to her husband and her husband is a great devotee, then she benefits. If he's a normal
right,
devotee, she benefits. And if she treats him like Vishnu and he's not a very good devotee at all, or maybe not a devotee, she still benefits because she gets the benefit of worshiping Vishnu, not her husband. But when it comes to
Jai,
Tamal, or anyone like that, or say Vijay Pataka, he had 3
yeah,
major aneurysms that anybody would have died from half of one of those aneurysms. But I think his disciples all said, oh, dear Lord Krishna, please give my energy and my life and my lifespan to increase his lifespan. So he was actually able to cannibalize the life of his disciple. So when you worship Tamal and he's in samadhi, first of all, the question is, does he take another birth? Or is he still there in samadhi? this is something that people don't take seriously into account. If a person is in samadhi, they're still there. What if he doesn't take another birth? What if he is in samadhi for the foreseeable future? And he can't get out because he's in samadhi.
I think he'll probably get out once the Ganga floods and takes his body away.
That could be. But
I'm speculating.
but the actual fact is, I've always considered that the person who's in samadhi, Rupa Goswami, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, Jiva Goswami, all of these great Sanatan Goswami, all of these great acharyas, Prabhupada said you go there to Vrindavan to associate with the great devotees. And I've said before, I've been to Vrindavan so many times. I didn't see any great devotees, and maybe I'm just a totally offensive person that I should be bowing down to this little urchin in the street who doesn't take a bath, and I probably should because he's a resident of Vrindavan. But the point really being is that I couldn't understand who Prabhupada was talking about. You don't go there to just go to the shopping and go and touring and walking around. You go there to associate with the great devotees. So one time I was in the area of samadhis, and I saw the samadhi of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti. I said, oh my God, he's there. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti is there. To associate with the great devotees, Prabhupada means associate with the samadhi, because that person is there. So if Tamal takes another birth, I don't know how he's going to do it. He's in his samadhi. He's going to have to stay there until hell freezes over. But I could be wrong. Someone will have to tell me what happens when an ordinary mortal man is put into a samadhi. So, of course, people that worship Tamal were actually worshiping Prabhupada and Krishna through Tamal, and yet he cannibalized their energy. That's what the bogus guru does. He doesn't deliver you, he cannibalizes you. He eats your energy, and that's what gives him strength. Just like your friend, the Pandit.
They're posting comments on Facebook, everyone to chant for Bhakti Chara. And people did so also, many of them.
What's this?
People were...
Can you
people were,
Ronald?
People were saying to pray for Bhakti Charu Swami and to chant for him, to have programs for him.
Yeah.
Because he was sick, Bhanu Prabhu was saying. So he was. You were talking about how people cannibalize.
When we do that, our goal is to give our life to him so he may live.
Yes. Cannibalize.
Why else? Yeah, cannibal. So he was a cannibal anyhow.
Yes.
He took all of his disciples' money and then invested in some sort of weird airline project in Canada and lost all the money, and they were not happy with him at all. So he already cannibalized them for their money. What to speak of their heart, their Shakti, and their heart, their mind, their bodies. Think what their bodies could have done if they hadn't been worshiping Bhakti Charu. Supposing their bodies had been engaged in worshiping Prabhupada, following his directions, and becoming pure devotees of Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Just imagine that and Bhakti Charu. They give your energy to Bhakti Charu, you end up no better than him, a dead body. But you worship Prabhupada, you go back to Godhead.
Yeah, that's the thing, These disciples of the ISKCON gurus, they have a very hard time understanding all these things.
Well, that's our job, is to bring that to light. And it starts by just to go stays like this, and it also means writing and distributing pages. I don't think books, because it's just get caught up in your own personality. But just
Right,
pages, formulas for creating ISKCON once again.
Right.
But we
So-
can easily prove that the GBC has no basis to exist, zero.
Yes.
Because if they do, then what is it?
Right.
Where did you get your basis to exist? Where did the word GBC come from? Oh, Prabhupada created GBC in 1970. Okay. And how did he create it? Well, there was a direction of management. Oh, yeah. What did it say? Well, we don't go by that anymore. Why not? Well, he changed his mind. Oh, he did? Where did he write down that he changed his mind? Where did he write that he changed his mind? And in the end, they're finished. In the end, there's nothing they can do except say, well, we did it ourselves, and we thought the Prabhupada wanted us to, and because we thought Prabhupada wanted us to, we did it. And then we also thought we should create, instead of being 3 years elected GBC to help the temples develop, we decided we could also create gurus. Where does that come from? Where did Prabhupada create that? Show me in his writing. Show me in all his 80 books. Show it in his letters. Show it in his lectures. And if all of that fails, try common sense. Try common sense. Why would he do that? And so it creates an anomaly.
Jai. So, yeah,
So
we've
are there
discussed a lot. So I'll put snippets
any more
online.
comments?
So,
Are there any more comments?
no, that's about it, Prabhu.
Okay, so
Right.
what we need to do at the end of our lecture is invite comments, okay? Because it's wonderful that Radhika Patel is giving the comment, but we need a dozen people to give comments.
Jai.
In other words, we need to invite them.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Jai, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Good night,
Hare
Prabhu.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna,
Good night.
Prabhu.
Bhanu, I would like to, may I say something to you, Bhanu, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhu.
From the first time you were on the Zoom call to tonight, you've advanced so significantly, I find it mind-boggling. My jaw drops in astonishment. You've become so clear. At first you were working at the ideas. Now you're getting the ideas. And as tomorrow comes by and the next day, you'll be able to express fully the absolute Siddhanta of Srila Prabhupada by simply accepting that he said was true and then repeating that which is true to others. Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Jai,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Jai. Ron, yeah, we got work to do we?